Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Humberto Lemus. I'm a real estate agent. Today on the video, we're back on the phones doing some cold calls on expired listings. Before we move on, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get notified the next time I upload a video. So now let's start making some calls. So this first property owner that we're gonna be calling, we already contacted once and we did get him on the phone, but he was in a rush. So he did tell me that he wanted to list it back on the market, but didn't know when yet. So I'm just gonna try to contact him now and see if he's less in a rush where I can talk to him and see if he wants to list it back on the market. And the property is in Bakersfield, California. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and the list price was at $545,000. So let's dial the number and see if we can get a hold of him.
Hello?
Yes, hello, is this?
Yes.
Hello, this is Humberto back again. Hoping that I'm catching you at a better time.
I just got off the phone with somebody.
You just got off the phone?
Yeah, when I saw your number come up. Yeah, I spoke to you yesterday or the day before.
On Friday.
Friday?
Yeah.
It seems like
you were in a... Yeah, you were in a rush.
I got your number, but I'm not really ready to do anything quite yet. But I thank you for calling me back.
So were you trying to work with other real estate agents at the time, or not looking for?
I was working with a realtor until last June, right?
Yeah.
Right now I don't have any contract with her. That contract is expired. But right now I'm just there. I know that you have a lot of buyers right now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that that's the talk of the town, that it's definitely a seller's market right now.
Yeah, it is, and definitely.
So you've seen pictures of my house because they're on the internet.
Yes, it's a nice, pretty big home. It's a.
Okay, just by looking at it, what price tag do you put on it?
So by looking at it, I'm not sure, Carl. I would have to gather a CMA from all the properties that are sold in your neighborhood.
There are no other properties that sold around me. There's one behind my house, or maybe on the other side of the fence, and down 2 houses or something like that. That guy I think he got $375 for whatever size his house is, $1,400 or something like that, right? He has a pool, but that's about it. It's a much smaller lot, complete different house. That's a trap home. These are semi-custom.
Okay.
So I know that. Okay, now this is what I want to get at. As long as we're on the phone, I'm going to try to help you as you're trying to help me.
Okay. I
realized through time that Bakersfield realtors, possibly people all the way up to Delano, have done everything they can to shield these houses from going up in value. I don't know what the purpose is. I talked to other people. They know the same thing. They say the same thing. We've traveled California. We've taken a look around. We've done our due diligence 50 miles out of town, maybe over the hill, maybe up in Fresno, maybe Sacramento. We do our due diligence as well. But when you get your realtor, it's like, well, we don't want to price the buyer out of the market. My interest is not about the buyer. My interest is what can I get for my home? And I have found out with all of my realtors that I've had, mom and pa cattle, and I told them, I said, you're undervaluing my house. You are undervaluing my, no, we're not. I'm like, well, that's funny. My neighbor says, and then this lady, you're going to listen to this whole story.
No, yeah, go ahead. I have time, and yeah.
And she's like, I just love it when the neighbor knows more than a professional real estate agent. I said, in this case, they do, and so do I. You're missing it horribly. But they wanted to sell this home to possibly somebody that they knew, right? Possibly they wanted to flip it, or possibly they just wanted to sell to the first person that came through my house.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll tell you what, Mom and Pa Kettle, I forgot their name. They were a married couple down here, older people. I'll tell you what, put it on the market. If the first person that comes to my house wants to buy my house, all deals are off. Sure as shit, I see a car pull up in front of the house, and I knew that there was an appointment, so I'm getting my dog ready to take my dog for a walk. Before the realtor gets here, the private individual pulled up in front of my house. And I saw this happen with my last house, too. I gave my house away, not knowing. So that's why I'm predicated on doing all the due diligence needed.
Well, can I tell you something? If you would list it with me, that wouldn't be the case. I wouldn't.
Okay, I believe you. But hear my story.
Yeah.
So I walk out my door, with my dog so he can come in with the realtor when his realtor arrives. So I get out to the curb. The guy hasn't even been in my house. He goes, I'm going to buy your house. I'm like, well, we'll talk about that, right? And so I take my dog for a walk for 20 minutes, and they're waiting for me to come back or whatever, right? Because he knows I'm out on foot.
Yeah.
And so I come back, and I'm 100 feet away from the realtor, right? I see this lady standing there. And she's like, good news, we're going to buy the house. I'm like, well, I'll let you talk to my realtor. So I called my realtor. I says, we're done. Take my house off the market.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, the very first person that came here wanted to buy my house because you left about, I don't know, at least $70,000 on the table, right?
Yeah.
And so I was done at that point. Done with them, done with the whole house sale thing. Then I would go out to Texas. I have this lady selling my house. I don't get in a car accident. Someone drives into me, knocks my head off my block, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to pull my house off the market. Then I sold my house in June when the realtor wanted to, put my house up for $495. And I said, no way, what are you, crazy? Well, she sold her house around the corner for me, and I told her, I said, your house is way too low. She sells it to the first buyer, right? She's a realtor. Sold it to the very first person who came through her house. She left a ton of money on the table. So I said, no, put it on for $545, right? And the very first person that came through my house wanted to buy the house. In fact, he made the offer, and I accepted. And then I find out that we lost our capitalization on a project out in Texas. So I think I told you this the other day.
Yeah.
Why? But okay, so I'm still in my house, and I do want to sell. But why do people repress the prices on these homes?
Yeah.
There are buyers up the wazoo. I don't need to give my house away. I don't need, hey, you know what, walk in, hey, yeah, you got $70,000 worth of equity. Yeah, here you go. Sure, I hope you have a nice life. I'll leave the garden hose and all the garden tools and everything else for you. Can I clean the windows before I leave? What can I do for you? Right?
Right.
I want a realtor that sells the house by saying, look at the coffered ceilings. Look at the arched doorway. Look at this. Look at that front door. Look at this. Look at that. Look at the coffered ceilings in the bedrooms. Look at the sparkling pool. That would cost you $100,000 to have that pool built today.
So it looks, by the sound of it, that you did invest in a lot of things into the home. You did do a lot of work in it.
Well, it's not perfect. It's a little dated, but the bones are excellent.
Yeah.
Right? And it's clean.
Yeah.
I've been gone for years. This house just sat here. It really did. I don't even know, come think of it, I don't know why I didn't unplug the refrigerator. I was gone for years.
Wow.
And this house just sat here.
Yeah, and it's a pretty nice house too.
I had a pool guy. I had a gardener. I didn't have to do anything, right?
Yeah.
And I had a housekeeper. I'd call her when I was coming home or whatever. Okay, house is ready. She had access to my, enough money to do whatever. She'd set up my Christmas tree. When I'd come home for Christmas, the house was done. And then I had to make some calls like, hey, I can't find this. I can't find it, because she would rearrange it the way she wanted her house. I couldn't find my calculator, or like, where in the heck is my hat? That's in your drawer on this dresser.
Yeah.
What the hell? And the best housekeeper of all time, right? I took care of her, and she took care of me. So the house looks good because no one's ever lived in it.
So it seems that property, you said that you just left it empty. Where were you at before coming down here?
What do you mean?
Are you still living right now in that property in Bakersfield?
Yeah, I'm in the house right now. Yeah.
So where were you at before moving?
God, name it. I was in Madagascar. I was in Bahrain. I was in Oman. I was all over the place, man. South Africa.
Doing some traveling, it seems like you like it.
No, I was actually doing projects.
Projects out there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like
I was in
into...
the oil business. I don't know if there's an oil business to be in anymore.
Oh, okay. So that's what you were doing over there? Oil business?
Yeah, for the most part. Water, big, large scale, some of the biggest water projects on the planet.
Wow. And so are you still continuing doing other stuff like that, and not oil, but...
I'm doing some other things right now that aren't. I'm freewheeling. I'm not making any money right now, which really drives me nuts. But just when I took your call, I was actually talking to my business partner about some stuff. I've gotten some phone calls from Texas, and the really good project that I didn't, have anything to do with the financing, right?
Yeah.
That one is still out there with a small pulse, but I don't think it's going to work out. So I'm going to do some other things out in West Texas. We'll see how that works. But
so it does still seem like you have other projects, though, right?
Yeah, I've got a place to go to here shortly. It's been up to me because I've been trying to do some other things, some newfangled kind of things as the world changes and stuff. But I might have to go back to the oil business. There's no telling.
And so why don't you put the property back on the market while the market's hot? And it seems like
the market's going to remain hot. California's on fire.
Yeah.
And it's going to remain. I still believe that most people are going to want to exit frickin' LA and San Francisco and all points in between. Bakersfield's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Outside of the homeless, it bothers me that there's so many homeless people. I walked out the other day, and I drove around town. I went out with my friends, went out to Luigi's, had a steak, drove around town a little bit. We went someplace else to have ice cream, to Wars. Of course, everyone knows where that is. But I take a look around, okay? Now, we're going to get a little political here, and I know that's not your area of expertise, nor mine. But when you think about all the taxes that you've paid, all the taxes that I've paid, all the taxes that my neighbor, my brother, my ex-girlfriend, her father, where the frickin', really think about this number, where did the frickin', I don't know, $900,000 trillion go to? And why are there homeless people? Why are people eating out of garbage cans?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right?
Where did that money go to?
Definitely. Yeah.
I don't see the money. I love people. I don't care what color you are. I love you. I'll decide whether or not I like you, and you'll make that decision for me, right? But I love you. I'm a child of God, right?
No, yeah, that's good to hear.
Everybody, my entire life has been predicated upon helping people. And trust me, overseas, I was able to help more people than you could even. I'd hate this. I don't want to keep the information from you, but I literally changed the lives of thousands of people overseas because the Indians were being treated as slaves and paid as slaves, and I was able to get them more money per month, better clothes, better safety gear, better food, better living conditions.
Hey, no, well, that's good to hear, Carl, that you're providing back to society, like helping out people.
Always have. Had I not helped people, though, I'll tell you this, I'd be a millionaire. I'd be a multi-millionaire, but I've always stopped to help people. But anyhow, about this house. You say you can't give me a number.
So I see that you put the listing price was $545,000, and that's it. You said that you threw that number out right there to your real estate agent.
Because I told my lady she was off, and the first person that really came through the house bought the house at that price.
Yeah.
So that means that there was still money left on the table. The realtor just they want to leave that money on the table for the buyer. And I know as a buyer, when I was a kid, I wanted to see equity when I walked in, too.
So
I'm not just not talking about my home. I'm talking about everyone's home in this town.
Yeah, I can do my homework and see what the reports say or what I can do about that number, but also letting you know, like, what would be a number that you would be comfortable with at the end and
on that
selling your...
545, as long as we talked about it, on that 545, it was predicated upon 2,271 feet. Yeah, 2,271. And I always knew that there was extra square footage in this house. And the guy across the street who was a tax whatever guy for the county or whatever, assessor, he retired from the assessor's office. Oh, no, because he's a no, they don't. Like, no, the lady told me they put on it. I measured this thing. There's an extra freaking, whatever square feet in this room. So my house is actually 2,371 feet. So there's an extra 100 square feet in this house, which I would like to get paid for, which at whatever it was, which I left money on the table at that time at $545 because the person that bought it gladly. So I knew there was still an appetite for a little bit more money, plus I have another 100 square feet. So whatever 545 divided by 2271 times 2371 plus the willingness of the very first buyer to buy this house, and homes are hotter now than they were in June of last year. I would imagine that they are.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the stock market is going to crash, and real property is the best thing to have. That's why the
real
old
estate
saying, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, maybe your dad, maybe your next-door neighbor, your uncle for sure, always said there's nothing better than property.
Yeah.
Because property doesn't disappear.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So there's a value to this house that I think it's higher than what you would want to try to even sell it, because the other realtor's working against me by having that square footage at this price, right? So that harms me because someone else is lacking guidance, either their own or from their realtor. Because realtors want to sell the house to the very first person. That way they put it on to the, what do they call those? The escrow people. They're done. They're done with you. It's escrow. You're done. You'll never see your realtor again because they're already shaking and baking someone else. So, there used to be this story about used car salesmen. I think it's used house salespeople, which are realtors. You guys are getting a bad name because I'm not the only person that feels this way.
Yeah.
Because everyone has to have a conversation over a ice cream cone or a steak or whatever we decide to eat, right? People talk.
Yeah.
We also talk about the homeless and why isn't anyone doing anything about it? Why are people starving in Bakersfield?
Yeah, that's a big problem.
I know why, because Newsom is killing the oil industry. That has a lot to do with it.
But not like, just how I was saying too, if you work with me, like, I wouldn't take the first offer, like, I want to get the most money in your pocket, right? And then about other agents, they only listed it in the Kern County MLS, but I also do work with the Tulare County MLS, so all the way up to Tulare and Hanford, they also see your property, and we could potentially bring in more of those buyers, right, that are gonna be offering more for your home.
That guy, just before that guy bought my house, and the reason why I say he was the first, he was actually that same day, he was the second. I forgot about this. I had a showing, and I had to be out of here at a certain time, so I think I left the dog in the backyard, I think. I said, all right, I'm going to go to lunch, or I'm going for a late lunch. I'll be back whenever, right?
Yeah.
So actually, I think I went to the gym. That's what I did. Let's get this story straight. So I went to the gym, like, okay, well, they got there at this time. They should be out of there now. I don't know. I stopped and did something from the gym home. Maybe I stopped at Walmart and grabbed something, grocery store. And I come home, and I notice that there's a Mercedes out in front of my neighbor's house, but he has people coming and going once in a while. So it wasn't out in front of my house, so it was out in front of my neighbor's house. And so I wheel in the driveway, and I hit the garage door opener, and here's a lady in my garage. I'm like, oh, God, that's got to be the realtor, right? She kind of waves at me, and I wave at her, leave things go for 15 minutes. Like, well, where is this lady, right? So I kind of come in through the garage and stuff like that, and she's talking. She's on her phone. She goes, oh, the owner just now walked in. And so she goes, hi, this is so-and-so and his wife so-and-so, right? And they're like, oh, my God. The lady's like, your house is so clean. Oh, my God, I love your house. And then the husband's like, hey, those pedestals out in front. He goes, will they take those down and make them flat for me? Because I have a 38-foot motorhome or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you just have to call them, and they'll probably give you we can do it next year. You got to prime them to go do that, right? He goes, I love your house, dude. He goes, you got a great house. And this, that, and the other thing. It's so clean and whatever. It doesn't much matter. I don't need to sell you. They were just full of accolades, right?
Yeah.
And so I walk away so she can wrap up with them or whatever. She goes, they're going to make an offer. I'm going to be talking to your realtor right away, right? So I'm like, okay. So she kind of leaves, and I call my realtor. I said, this realtor is going to call you and stuff, and these people are really excited about buying the home. And where were they? How'd they get in or whatever? Well, it's the same lady. She had the people on a virtual. They were down in L.A. Oh, I don't do virtual sales. Like, what do you mean you don't do virtual sales? I do. She goes, well, I don't. There's no faith in those people or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, they sure seem pretty excited about the house. We could at least talk. No, I don't do that. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then later on that day, that guy comes in. So, and she was here for him, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll sell it, right? And then I find out 3 days later that the financing fell through on a really great gig. So I didn't want to go up to, I told you this the other day, I didn't want to live in Texas at $300 a day.
Yeah.
While I could stay in my house for, whatever. And so I pulled it off the market, but I had to pay for all of those inspections and stuff.
Oh,
so that way I know the house is actually $2,371 as well. If I had to pay like $1,700 to take my house off the market, I felt bad for the guy because he had his wife with him and one of his kids with us. So, but they had aspirations. The guy basically said, first thing I'm buying for this house is a kegerator. Me and my buddies are going to party up by that pool. I'm like, yeah, cool, right on, whatever. And then I had to pull it off the market. So, and now here we are. It's been off the market now for 6 months or better. And am I ready to hit the market quite yet? No, not really. I'm still waiting for some things to develop, and then I'll skedaddle. But I know the house will sell fast. I don't think with interest rates coming down, the fear of whatever's happening in 24 is going to get people out of apartments. The market falling apart is going to make people say, you know what, I'm done trying to make money with Apple. I'm going to buy a home. So that's about the best thing you can do. I'm not ever going to buy a home in Texas, I don't think. Not ever. No. I'll work there, but I don't think I'll live there. I'll probably move someplace else. I'll probably move to, I don't know, Louisiana or something.
And what about California? Are you still liking California, or are you kind of like tired of California as well?
Well, if I go back to work, I'm going to go back to business. And I had a couple different business licenses, and I don't ever want to do business in California ever again.
Oh, I see.
They're on you. It costs you money to be in business. You can't make any money. No. California needs this, and they need that. Then the county needs this, and the city needs this, and they need this, and they need this, and there's no money left.
Yeah. A lot of businesses are moving away from California, right?
You can't do business in California, and they're doing it purposely. I don't know why they're doing it, but this isn't by accident. This is intentional. And you can't do it. It took me forever to close up both of my licenses, and they still wanted more money. So I'm done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it looks like at the time you said that you're not interested just yet putting on back on the market. So what are you thinking? When would be maybe like your time frame?
You haven't even given me a number. But I don't, there's a lot to unpack here. You're not the first person that's called, brother. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. Yeah. Right? Everyone's looking for an angle, and I understand that. But let's just give it a little bit more time. My head's wrapped around a whole lot of other moving pieces right now. The house will sell immediately. I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah, because so what would be like your next move if you listed back on the market? I haven't given you a number yet, but what would be that number for you?
You should give me a number. I don't need to give you a number. You're the professional real estate guy.
Okay, so how about this? I do my homework and I come back with a number for you. Is that okay with you?
Sure, you can give me a number.
Okay. So any day would be okay with you, or would be the best time to contact you?
You got my number, text me, because I hung up on a phone call to take your call because I thought you might be someone in the oil business because I'm looking for some equipment. And I didn't save you by name, and you just came up 667-9000 McFarland. I'm thinking, well, there's oil stuff up there. Maybe. And I say, Lily and I got to get off the phone. Right?
Yeah.
And then I wasn't too surprised it was you, but you came in as McFarland instead of Delano today.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking for some oil equipment. I'm looking for some drilling rigs too.
For
no worries.
Hanging up on that.
Don't ever be sorry to me. We're brothers. Don't ever be sorry to me.
All right.
Just don't ever hit me over the head with rolling pin.
Right. All right. So it seems like I'll get a number for you, and then I'll just text it to you and see where we go from there.
All right. Sounds good, brother.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Bye-bye.
Good day. Bye. So that was a good interaction with him, and it looks like he's just looking for a number, right? And I'm gonna come back and let him know what number the market is telling me. But it does seem like he's really interested to list it back on the market, right? But he just wants that number from a real estate agent, and depending on that number, if it sounds something good that he might be interested in, he'll be listing it back on the market, right? So I have some homework to do, and we'll give him another call next time. But for now, I'll continue following up with him, and I'll be putting him down as a hot lead So that's great news, and don't forget to smash the like button for that. If you're a new real estate agent and are doing cold calls, I'm hoping that you're off to a great start to this new year. Down below, like I said, leave your goals for the year and let's crush it together this year. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.